There are 100 reasons not to acquire a traditional business. And at the same time, there are 100 reasons why one should acquire a traditional boring business revenue between 2 to 10 million. And in today's video, I would like to cover like 16 hot takes from my own personal journey of what I learned and over the past 2 years, what type of businesses I'm talking about. Very boring, very traditional. They've been around for 20, 30 years. Owners are in their 50s, 60s, 70s. Some of them even in their 80s. I've met with a few of those. And yeah, the 2-year journey, what I've learned, and it's everything post acquisition. So, number one, a person with average intelligence can do that. Start with who you are and don't count yourself out. Thanks to Twitter, I talk to a lot of people who are on a similar journey. That's number one. Number two, you can figure things out. And having this ability of figuring things out, and this is pretty much my daily mantra, has been for the past 2 years. Every time there is an obstacle, I'm telling to myself, I have the ability to figure things out. There's probably a person who has been in this situation, and you can always reach out to them, ask for help. Because what I've seen also over this past 2 years is a lot of people have gave up. People who are much smarter than me, they have much more experience. They worked in a PE firms, they worked in investment banking. They've seen other people doing deals. They've seen other people raising capital. And then they started on their own, and for some reason they gave up. But again, a person with average intelligence can do that. That's number one. Number two, everyone wants to acquire a business which does 500K free cash flow a year, but in real life, it's very hard. A lot of people are talking about this. To be honest, before starting this journey, I thought it's going to be easier as well. It's very, very hard. And at the same time, when you're asking this question, like how many people you know who have bought at least one of these businesses? Not too many, right? And again, coming back to the first point, like average person can do that. You can't count yourself out because you can figure things out, and oftentimes people start thinking, and was the same for me, like, oh, this is for those extremely smart people, can only do that. It's not for me. And in here as well, like, no, my friend, that person is you, and you can do it as well. Number three, in the beginning, forget the industry. Finding a company that has been established and consistently profitable for a number of years, you have to look these type of businesses. Everything else, garbage. Because I bought a database of almost 4,000 businesses, and there's a lot of bad stuff, a lot of good stuff, and some of them are so-called great businesses with the potential to grow and a great management team in place. This is stuff you're looking for, and the industries can be very different. So in the beginning, I would say forget the industry and just try to look at as many businesses as possible, and you start seeing and meeting different people, and from there you just go from there. Number four, meet your competitors to see who you compete with. This was very big one for me, and as you can see, the first two lessons or hot takes were pretty much about the mindset of actually doing this and not giving up. And for me, this was the big one because again, I'm not considering myself to be the smartest guy, smartest investor, not the big fan of doing all this analysis of the business and using Excel and all that. It's never been my so-called cup of tea. And seeing other people doing this, I got very afraid of, okay, do I really want to compete with those people or not? And to make sure I know who I'm competing with, when I was 27, I decided that, okay, I'm going to go to Switzerland. I'm going to study in a university in Switzerland to see the so-called future of banking, future of finance, private equity, hedge fund, family offices, because these people there who are studying there, they are the future of this financial mecca in Europe, which is Switzerland, various cities, Geneva, Zurich, Lugano, etc., etc. And after spending months with them, studying in a class, hiking for hours every weekend, partying until the early hours in the morning, I realized, okay, I can compete with those people. And this gave me like a huge belief, because spending so many hours with those people, you have various different conversations, you see how they think, you see what they want to accomplish in life. And I was always this person of asking those questions about dreams and all that. And a lot of people had similar dreams and goals like I do, like building a successful private equity firm. Mm, Seeing this and seeing those people who will go and try to accomplish this, again, this gave me a big belief, because again, they're smart, but they're also lazy. They're focused, but they often need a break to go to have a smoke. They work hard, but you can always outwork those people. Again, they're ambitious, but so are you. So these were some of the notes I took for myself, that okay, they have all very high, I would say, standards, skill sets, all those things. But at the same time, as I said, they're lazy. They smoke a lot. They drink a lot. They party a lot. They're ambitious, but you can do all those things, and you can do it better by just being more disciplined, being a so-called learning machine, doing a massive research. You can compete with those people, and this was very important for me. And this gave me again huge belief that okay, I want to do this as well. Number 5, no venture capital, no real estate. This is something I very early on I set myself rules that these are the industries which I'm not touching, because I want to pick businesses where profits and cash flow are pretty much the main driver of value. I can value those businesses, and I can understand those businesses, and this is what I want to go for. Number 6, being street smart will take you further than you can imagine. And street smart, I I've been a lifelong salesperson. I've been in various situations. Selling solves most problems people have. And what I mean in here, if you can sell stuff, whether it's products and services, you can make money. Number 1. Number 2, you have to sell everything. When I'm coming home late in the evening, I have to sell to my girlfriend that I have to. Yes, I know I arrived very early, very late, but now I have to wake up very early as well, and it's constant selling. I have to sell to my 1.5-year-old like why she should go to bed when it's 8 p.m. and all those things. So it's all about selling, and I consider this to be like street smart. And in here, I would include cold calling, being likable, and so-called general soft skills like listening more than you're talking, asking great questions, doing a follow-up. A very common thing people know about, you should do a follow-up. Very people do it, and very people do it well enough, and very people don't. Most people don't do it enough. The fact that people don't get back to you like after 4 or 5 emails or calls or whatever, give it a try. Wait for half a year and try again. And again, many people don't want to do this. If you're one willing to do this, this takes you further than you can imagine. Number 7, it's a numbers game. I mean, you need to talk to 100 average companies to find 4 to 5 great companies which are worth your time, your efforts, your energy. Because there was a moment when I was probably doing 20 or 30 calls a day, and not just calls like a company name, name of the owner and their number, and I just gave a call. Every business I call, I do a research. What industry? I'm looking at their website. I'm googling. Maybe I'm finding some interviews with founders, and you can find very interesting things about people if you googling about them. You can find about their hobbies, what they do on their free time. Some people are big fan of photography. All those things when you're doing this so-called first contact, first impression, it's very important to know all those things. So again, it's numbers game, Yes, but it's not the typical numbers game, because you can do your research and you can really find those great companies already before calling them. And again, out of those 100, there are again 100 average companies, and then there are 4 to 5 like really great ones. And great, what I mean is there's an actual opportunity for you to go and acquire them, because again, there's excellent businesses here in Estonia and Northern Europe, but they probably will never sell their business. And I consider this to be an average business because I never will have an access to this company. So it's a numbers game to find those really, really great ones. Number 8, the goal is to decentralize your operations. Okay, this is a bit post-acquisition, but I decided to take a note about this as well. Hire very smart people and leave them alone. Let them get on with it. This is a post-acquisition strategy, but I've been using this pre-acquisition as well. For example, I once hired one research guy who did it for me, but I very quickly found out that I'm a bit better than him, and better. What I mean is I'm more motivated in finding every piece of information about this business. So this is a bit post acquisition, a bit of out of context of this video, but let's leave it here. The goal is to decentralize your operations, hire very smart people and leave them alone. Okay, number 9, private markets are better than public markets because there is a significantly less arbitrage. At the end of the day, it's all about how you can buy 10 million business for 3 million. It's an extreme example, but an example what I gave to people and what someone told me was, this is your goal. You want to buy $10 notes for $3 because if you can do that, number 1, there is a margin of safety. Number 2, you can grow this business. Number 3, you can the day when you acquired the business, you already made money. And imagine that if you can do that once, twice, 5 times, 10 times, you end up doing very, very well. So again, private markets better than public markets because on public markets it's very rare that you can do that. But in private markets, for example, there's one company I'm in negotiation phase at the moment. In the beginning, it all started that he wants to sell his business for 4 million euros, which is pretty much the $4 million. And now we are at 65% of the business for 1.5 million. And I know it will go even lower because he's very motivated in selling some parts of his business. And again, it's only possible on private markets, and that's why those guys in US, those guys in London, I've talked with them. That's why they've been able to achieve like extremely good returns because they're able to do very great deals. Number 10, venture capital is sexy, but old school folks who run cogs and gears manufacturing business in their 50s are much happier. They make money every single day. Days become weeks, weeks become months and years. 95% of them are seriously happy with zero debt and not much stress. Time for wife, time for kids, time for hobbies, time to travel. No Forbes, but they could care less. And the happiness level, I think it's how I view life, how I view business is you have to really look at uh, the person who runs the business, how happy they are, how excited they are, what they've accomplished, and are they actually wealthy and rich? Because if you buy a business and the owner has been doing that for 20 years and he's not rich, he's not wealthy, this is not a good business. But the guys I'm talking to, these guys have 4 or 5 houses around the country, and they're not renting out those houses. It's for their family. And now it's more common that some of them even have a house in Marbella, some of them in Greece, and in Creta Island in Europe. And you can see these businesses are doing very well because the owners are wealthy. And I this is more often true than not. And they drive with very good cars, fancy cars. They have 4 or 5 cars, some of them only one. But my idea here is you want to find businesses where the businesses have made the owners rich. And the happiness part, being rich is one thing. Number two is the happiness part, and you want to find businesses where the founder is happy. Okay, I mean, they might be tired of running this business, but overall, having long conversations with them, I can see like, okay, this guy is happy, this guy is stressed. I met some guys who want to sell their business, and they've said to me that they have problems with alcohol, can't sleep well. They put all their effort and energy into this business. It's their third wife, things like this. This is not a great sign. You're looking for owners who are happy, relaxed, excited. They've traveled around the world. They're tired of traveling because they've done too much of this. And that's why I believe that venture capital is sexy, but the true happiness is about those traditional boring businesses which are extremely profitable and extremely, I would say, recession proof, if we can say that. Number 11, folks in their 50s, 60s, 70s, when it comes to communication, emails are good, phone calls are better, and in real life meetings are the best. Because you can keep sending emails and not achieving much. I've seen that happen many, many times. But you pick up the phone and you pretty much get the job done. You get the overview of the business. You really quickly find out whether the business owner is interested in selling the business or not. And from there, by using the phone, you can very quickly just set up a meeting. I'm not talking about Zoom meeting or Teams meeting. You have to be willing to travel to other cities, even other countries, to meet with the business owners, because the energy is different. And the best thing is the physical meeting with a business owner. And these are old school guys. Remember, I'm talking about the guys who are in their 50s, 60s, 70s. They use phones, but again, in-person meetings, you can get much more information when you're actually catching up with them. They will show you their manufacturing facility. They will introduce you to their key people, things like that. This is what I've experienced, and in-person meetings, best thing. Number 12, an hour-long meeting that will last 2 to 3 hours. When it comes to those business owners and meeting with them, again, take time and listen. That is their life's work. Very rarely does anyone go there and appreciate the work they've done, appreciate the business they've built. It's their baby. As I said, they've been doing that for 10, 20, some of them 30 years. The company they built, listen and care, and again, be that person who listens. Ask a question and be quiet. And one of the best advice I've got early in my sales career, whenever someone finishes a sentence, count to 3 on your mind and then start talking, because the magic happens after the pause. People start talking about, you will be surprised what type of private information and secrets and problems, and at the same time winnings and things like that. They start talking when you just use the pause. And that's why whenever you go and meet those old folks who have been building their business, take 2 or 3 hours, even if you have just said that, okay, it's going to be a 60-minute meeting. Of course, there are some of those too, but the best ones I've seen, 2 to 3 hours, and multiple meetups, multiple follow-ups, and fascinating stuff. If you take the time, if you take the time to listen, to care. Okay, number 13, without brokers, it takes years. I've never used a broker to find a deal. It's been all my own time and effort and research skills. Because getting a person who does not want to sell their business to actually sell it takes ages. You really have to enjoy the journey. If it's a great business, you play by their rules. Again, I've been calling to some businesses maybe 6, 7, some maybe 10 times over the past 2 years. We every time have a conversation, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, sometimes longer. As I said, Many of them include the meeting, which 1 hour meeting turned into 2 to 3 hours, but still they're not interested in selling their business. But who knows? Maybe it will happen in the future that they actually want to sell their business. Maybe it won't. I don't really care, because I learn so much. I see a lot. I see the problems. I see the opportunities. Uh, they share some of the business ideas they have, but they don't have the time and energy to do it anymore. But you learn all that by actually being this person who goes and meets those people. And again, in the future, of course, we're going to use brokers, because there are a lot of great businesses which will be selling only using brokers. But so far on my journey, it's been just me, and there has been some cases where someone has recommended me to someone that this is the guy who would like to acquire a business. That's fine. But the absolute best ones I've found myself, and 9 out of 10, these have been the businesses which on the first or second call, they were not interested in selling the business. But now a year or two later, one guy is 66. Now he's interested, and we are in a very serious conversation, and next week probably like putting together a term sheet. So without brokers, it takes years. So enjoy the journey, and you play by their rules. If it's a great business, you play by their rules. Number 14, soft skills. Forget the Excel and EBITDA. They barely use CRM. Talk in plain language. How much money did you make last year? So true. And this is, I consider this to be my small benefit, because I'm a simple guy. I don't have I haven't worked in a PE firm. I don't know the very sophisticated vocabulary those people are using. And this has been my benefit, because many guys have said that it's very easy to communicate with you. And one case I just had with this one business owner who I'm talking to, he said that okay, he will hire consultants to value his business. And I said, you can do that. I'm just preparing you of what is going to happen. And this business does 500,000 in free cash flow. EBITDA is around 700,000 a year. And I said that those guys will tell the valuation is like 7-8 times EBITDA. And I said that this will never happen on this valuation. I won't buy the business, and probably others won't, because it's just too expensive. I said how it works and how I would be able to raise money and actually sell this business. Acquire this company, and where I would like to invest my own money as well is when it comes to down to 3 times EBITDA. Or in this case, it's even lower. It's 3 times free cash flow. And I explained to him. He said that he got valued his business a few years ago. It was 6.5 to 7 times EBITDA. And then he was like, okay, I still want to run this business, not interested in selling. And probably because there weren't any offers, because of it was a bit too expensive. So again, soft skills, forget the Excel, forget the EBITDA, and focus on simple, plain language. Or how much money did you make last year? And every time when it comes to small businesses, as I said, the revenue range is between 2 to 10 million. There are a lot of personal expenses, and the one I'm talking about at the moment, this guy is traveling like 4 or 5 times a year, every time quite expensive trips. Almost a month in foreign country, and it's probably another 100 plus K a year which he spent on traveling. So this makes this business even more profitable. But all this thanks to those long conversations, and thanks to just being a simple guy interested in acquiring a business and not using too much of this very sophisticated and complicated vocabulary. Next one, number 15. You get to practice negotiations, making offers. We learned this stuff at school while studying in Geneva, Switzerland. We did those different cases that we are on one side of the table as a buyers, and on the other side there are sellers. We were making offers, we were negotiating, but nothing teaches you more than just talking with real people. Again, I have notes here. During the first call, the owner asked for, okay, this is the case I shared with you, that in the first call, yeah, I'm interested in selling 4 million. I said, okay, I'm never going to be the buyer. And then we kept talking. And today we are 1.5. I think we could even land to 1.2 for 65% of the business. Again, all this has been through very difficult conversations, very difficult meetings, really pushing the owner. But this is only possible, I would say, when you're not only working on one deal. You have to have this abundance or abundant mindset that there are plenty of great deals out there. You just have to find one, and you have to find few in order for you to build a fund, build a holding company. So, but the best way to practice negotiations is talking with all sides, talking with investors, talking with business sellers, business owners, and by just making offers and then using the silence. For the offers, I've seen the best ways. I know this person already is by using phone, because when it comes down to numbers, I've seen this works best. I haven't done it in a physical meeting. That okay, I know you wanted 4, but now it's gonna be a 1.5. But on the phone, it's very easy and easy to push. Of course, it's not. I would say not easy. My mistake. Easier, because you're not physically there. And on the phone, you can very easily use pause. You just tell them the number, and is this in your ballpark? Like 1.5 million, and boom, you're silent using a pause, and then sometimes even 10 seconds, no answer, and it's like, yep, probably yes. But again, all this comes through practice and to actually doing this stuff, doing negotiations, making offers. Number 16. This is overall advice, like buy the ticket, take the chance. Half a year ago, investor DM'd me on Tuesday through Twitter. He said that he's co-founder of a very large gaming company, and he sent me a message on Tuesday. By the way, Mick, are you in London tomorrow? And I was like, yes, I am. And immediately I bought a ticket and I went to London the next day. And we still keep in touch. He hasn't invested in my business, but we stay in touch on week-to-week basis. Who knows? One day he might invest. But it's funny how it works. You just really have to be there for those people, and it's just about being a yes man. He just sent me a message on Tuesday. I had no idea who he was, what he wants, all those things. I was like, okay, let's catch up. And next day, I just flew to London, and who knows? Again, he might be the investor one day, he might be not. But I learned a lot. I get to know one person, and this is how it is. You have to buy the ticket, and you have to take the chance. So, in conclusion, those boring companies aren't so boring. If you talking with them, there's so much opportunity there. The numbers are great. The business models are great. And these are the businesses which have been around for 20, 30 years. And one for sure, they will be around for another 20, 30, even more years when it comes to various different products and services, because without them, it's very hard to do X, Y, and Z. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and see you in the next one.